Hello everyone, it's me, Max West again. I draw comics and I do children's books. And I'm picking up with part 2 of day 1 of the 30-day drawing challenge I'm doing. As you remember last time, on watercolor paper I did a pencil drawing of Mayor Samuel Sidewinder, the mayor of Poison Ivy Gulch. This is dry now. I have just finished the erasing of the pencil lines. Now it's time to go on now to applying some color. Alright. The first thing I'm going to do, okay, I've got my supplies here. I've got some colored inks. I have water, as well as a water jar. I have a palette. Now, for the black here, for his hat and his suit, instead of ink, I thought of using watercolor. I'm going to use something called water-soluble graphite. It's kind of like a graphite stick that I showed you. Alright, so what I'm going to do is this. It gives more of a dark gray than a black color. There we are. Alright. Now, that's pencil there, you see. Well, you're about to learn why this is called water-soluble graphite. I take a brush, a watercolor brush, dip it in my water here, and watch. See? I know it might not give as rich of a black ink, as much rich of a black color as if I worked with ink. But for my purposes, it gets the job done. There we are. Now look how vivid that looks. It may not look like a perfect black color, but for my purposes, I think it works. Originally, I was going to use a very dark brown ink, but, you know, in the end, I decided to go with this because I think it works better. Alright, let's just get this done. There we are. And in a moment, I'm going to apply water to there, just like I did with Mayor Sidewinder's hat. Let's give it the once over here. You know, water-soluble pencils are a pretty handy tool for drawing or for blending with other media like ink and watercolor and wash and such. Alright, let's get this colored in. There we go. Guess instead of his usual black suit, we're going to give him more of a charcoal gray outfit here. There we go. There we are. Okay. And you see, got a nice rich black color there, or a dark gray at least. This will work for our purposes. Alright, now for the next step, I'm going to start applying some color. I'm going to work in his hair and his beard. Now, as you know, Mayor Samuel's Sidewinder, he's a redhead, but I like coloring his hair orange, so I'm going to use some colored ink here. Alright. Let's use an eyedropper. I'll just put it here in my palette. There we go. Alright. I've had experience with working with watercolors. I've taken a couple of classes in how to paint with that. And essentially colored ink is a lot like using watercolor paint. Alright. Let's get started here. Alright, so we dip here in the water. Now. Alright. Okay. I'm using a watercolor paper here. Sturdy enough for a water-soluble media. Yeah, watercolors are not an easy medium to work with. Besides fine art, they're still used for illustration, just like with cartoons and picture books and such. So it's not a very forgiving medium. You know, you have to forgive yourself first. Just get the rest of the mare's hair colored in here. I might go over this again later with the pen, tighten up the line art. There we go. Now I just got to do his beard. We also add a little bit of, I wonder if I should add a little bit of color to the mustache there. Nah, I'll just leave it like that. There we go. Now let's see. That is starting to look like something there. This is starting to look just like a finished drawing. Alright, now the flesh tone. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using another kind of colored ink. This is acrylic ink. It's similar to acrylic paint. Once it's completely dry, it becomes completely impermeable. Just going to use that to do his skin here. Alright, going to let it dry. Of course, yeah, I'm going to have to let this dry later. Alright, so let's get his flesh colored in. Start here with that big schnozola. Yeah, the big noses on some of the males you'll see in Poison Ivy Gulch. That was inspired by The Wizard of Id, the comic strip by Brant Parker and Johnny Hart. And later I will go back over some of the black lines here. with the pen. All right. Oh yeah, I love acrylic ink. I've also worked with acrylic paint as well as gouache. Gouache is opaque watercolor. Very popular among illustrators as it reproduces well. But some fine artists use it too. There we go. That's starting to look like something there, huh? Now, once this dries and everything, which will take some time, and that'll, make this video way too long. Once this dries, I plan to go back over some of the black ink here. I'm also going to sign the work, but I will put one finishing touch before we wrap up this first video. I'm going to put the character's name here. Here we are. And there we are. Well, that takes care of the first day of the drawing challenge. Only 29 more days to go. Until next time, this is your old pal Max West saying goodbye.